Patient-ordered testing. San Juan Regional Medical Center is expanding its services to offer low-cost blood screenings year-round. Now offering walk-in convenience to get the blood tests you want when you want them. MyLab's patient-ordered testing is available at the hospital's laboratory and the Outpatient Diagnostic Center on 30th Street in Farmington. With nearly 20 tests available, there's an option for everyone. MyLab's patient-ordered testing, a wellness service of San Juan Regional Medical Center. Eleven minutes past 8 o'clock. It's Wednesday morning, October 10th. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin, and thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM, the information and cultural beacon of the Four Corners. Special good morning to our viewers who are tuning in to watch us this morning live on our Facebook page and the KSJE YouTube channel. Coming up in just a moment today, my guest from San Juan Regional Medical Center. We're going to be talking about the Hall of Fame at San Juan Regional Medical Center. The induction ceremony is coming up, and we'll be talking to some of the inductees who are on the list this year. In fact, one of the inductees is right here in the studio with us this morning, so we'll be talking to him as well. That's ahead this morning on KSJE. Later on this hour, we'll be talking with Dr. Mike Hadabaugh, who will join us from the Encouragement Lab. He always has some great words of advice on relationships and communication. In fact, today's message is relating to their story. That's coming up today about 8:55 on KSJE. Roving with the Arts this morning at 9 a.m. Mick Hess will be here. He's got some opera for us on this Wednesday. It's Puccini's La Bohème. You'll hear that this morning on Roving with the Arts at 9. And then don't forget about our local and regional author program. Tracy Hales-Vass is on the air at 10:30, and she is talking to author Joseph Bedell and his books, The Curtis Chronicles. He has several in that series. She'll be talking with him about those books and much more coming up today at 10:30 right here on KSJE. But as I mentioned, my guests here for the first part of the program are from San Juan Regional Medical Center, talking about the annual Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Laura Werbner is here from the Public Relations Office at San Juan Regional. Good morning.
Good morning, Scott. How are you?
I am well, thank you. Thanks for being here.
It's exciting to see your new studio and check out this whole situation, and also have the cameras now,
It's
be able to see everybody, or
a situation.
they can see us. Yeah.
That's right. They can definitely see us. Thank you for coming in, and we're very proud of this new studio, made possible by the support of the community and members of KSJE. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also joining us, as I mentioned, is one of the honorees and inductees this year. Dr. Bob Leamer is here. Dr. Leamer, good morning.
Good morning, Scott.
Good to have you here as well, and congratulations.
Thank you.
As a member, a new future member of the Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm very honored.
We're going to learn all about you this morning. So
I hope not too much.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But thank you for being here, both of you. And Laura, this is a big deal with the hospital, right? By honoring folks in the community who have contributed to healthcare in our region, right?
Exactly. We do this every other year. We started in 2004, and at first it was every year. Then we kind of moved it to every other year because it takes a lot. It's a big production, and really just a lot of research to learn about all of our inductees, to get all their information together. We put together a video, which includes, photos. I had Dr. Leamer digging up old photos. I've got piles of his old photo albums and his baby picture in my office right now.
Right.
It's such an very exciting and incredible kind of journey to just learn about the things that our inductees have done and the amazing lives that they've led. And then it all culminates in our Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which is coming up next month.
Very exciting. And so we've got the details on the screen for folks who are watching. Next month meaning November 6th, right?
Yes, Tuesday, November 6th, Election Day.
Very exciting. And so that is happening here at San Juan College in the Little Theater.
Here in the Little Theater, yep. It's going to be 7 o'clock. And like I said, our inductees will be here, their families, and anyone in the community is invited to come out and join us as well. We'll have our ceremony, show the videos with more about all of these individuals, and then have a little party afterwards, have some punch, cookies, brownies, and just kind of mix and mingle and get to learn more.
Very exciting. Very good. Well, tell us a little bit about the four gentlemen this year who are going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame,
We
right?
do. We have 4 this year. As I like to call it, the 3 Bobs.
Right.
First we have I.J. Corey, who is no longer with us, and it was really after his untimely passing that he made a big contribution to the hospital. So a lot of people really know about I.J. Corey because he was a real prominent member of the Farmington community. He was a businessman, several businesses, Corey & Corey Insurance, now Armstrong Corey Insurance.
Right.
San Juan Savings and Loan. He also was a real civic leader and as well as a water rights expert. So people knew him as Mr. Water of New Mexico.
Interesting.
He just knew everything there was to know about water, and he spearheaded the organization of the San Juan Reclamation Association, and he was on the Interstate Stream Commission. He served under 11 governors, and he was actually the chairman at the time of his passing. So he did a lot here in New Mexico. Passage of the Colorado River Storage Project, Navajo Dam and Navajo Indian Irrigation Storage Project, a lot of things that did a lot of good for our community.
Right.
But as I said, it was after his passing that he really made the contribution he did to the hospital.
He wasn't really working with the hospital
No,
during his lifetime.
He was not at all. He actually had a heart attack unexpectedly in 1972, and he came to the hospital. He ended up passing away, and his family and friends all came together, contributed to a trust fund, and then decided that they wanted to use that money to help any other future heart patients at the hospital. So they established the I.J. Corey Coronary Care Unit. So that was to bring on the best heart care equipment for patients in the ICU. And so that was really a wonderful contribution in his memory that lives on today in the exceptional heart care we have at San Juan Regional Medical Center and San Juan Regional Heart Center.
And we're talking early 1970s, and so obviously since then there's been a lot of advancements and a lot of definitely technological improvements in care, cardiac care especially.
Absolutely, and it kind of started there and has taken off where it is today.
Because of his family, his generosity, his family's generosity.
Yes.
So, and he is what you would call the, I'm trying to remember the area here, the developing category.
That is our developing category area.
These inductees set into different categories based on the history of the hospital?
Based on the history, based on the year. So we were actually just talking about that because the break is 1975. So if you kind of came and started before 1975, we'll put you in that developing category, and then after 1975 is when that current category starts. So it's kind of funny because all of our doctors who all work together, they're actually kind of split up in 2 categories, even though they're all colleagues and they all work together at the same time.
Very good.
Which brings me to our next inductees.
Our next inductee is sitting right here at the table with us.
The 3 Bobs.
Exactly.
With Dr. Bob Leamer.
Right.
And, man, I should let Dr. Leamer talk about himself.
Dr. Leamer, give us a little bit of a brief resume, if you would, on you arrived at the hospital. When did you start practicing here?
I started in September of 1972.
Okay. Which is how you got into that developing category, apparently, pre-1975.
That's right.
Right. And so, how many years did you practice medicine then here at the hospital?
In Farmington?
Yes, sir.
40 years.
40 years.
Yes.
Okay. So that's a long time.
Till 2012.
Right. And you've seen a lot of changes, I'm sure, with the hospital and with medical care and things like that in that long career.
Yes. When I came in 1972, it was only about a 40-bed hospital, and it was 2 stories, right where the emergency room is today, and right across from the emergency room was the I.J. Curry. I guess it was the unit that they formed, and it was. The building is no longer there; it's been raised.
Right,
but
that was there at that time. So
that's right.
You were coming in just as that was getting started, apparently, right after it
was
did.
Brand new, I think. But anyway, it was much like what I call a MASH unit.
Right.
It was very primitive, the hospital at the time, and it was challenging.
Right.
to start with. We had 2 floors. On the second floor, where I believe it's the mental health part. In the front part of of that building was a big unit with just curtains between each of the beds. And there are about 16 beds, or 20, maybe 20 beds in that huge room.
Well, that must be pre-HIPAA, I would say, if they didn't have to worry about patient privacy back then. Yes.
That was pre-HIPAA, you're right.
That's true. But how things have changed.
Yes, and the operating rooms are in the back of the building, and
right.
And it was really challenging, but it was I think it was 1974. There was a bond issue that was floated, and there were quite a few of us that really thought if we didn't pass the bond issue, it would we were just going to move on, because there was no hope to compete with Mercy Hospital in Durango.
I see.
That was our big competitor.
Right.
So,
they had been established probably for a while and was a bigger facility.
Yeah, and they had an array of specialists there.
I see.
But
and that bond was going to build, add on to the hospital, or expand the hospital, build the tower?
Right. It was I think it was about a $8 or $10 million bond.
Which was a lot of money in the 1970s.
That's right.
It's a lot of money today. What am I talking about? Yeah.
But what happened is the bond issue passed very favorably, and the community is really behind seeing a first-rate hospital here. So the steel and the concrete structure, the 5 stories, was built, but they ran out of money at the time, and so we had to go to a second bond issue. And it was a little bit scary at that time, because people thought, maybe they really don't know what they're doing. But fortunately, the community responded favorably, and we built this middle section of the hospital, as I call it now, and that really changed everything.
Right.
I think that was finished probably in 1977, something like that.
And that too was where it switched from San Juan Hospital to San Juan Regional Medical Center.
During this time.
Because before it was always San Juan Hospital, and then we became San Juan Regional Medical Center. And some of the stuff, though, that Dr. Lemers told me about, when he first came on and got started in his orthopedics practice, he was so busy. It was such an industrial area here at the time, and there were just so many accidents. And I mean, he was just crazy busy. And then that's when he got Dr. John Romine, who he worked with at the Naval Hospital.
He was my boss in the Navy when
Interesting.
I was at Great Lakes Naval Hospital during the Vietnam War.
Okay. And who followed who to Farmington then?
He followed Dr. Lemert.
You got here, and then you brought him with you. Okay.
Became orthopedic associates.
Right.
So they founded orthopedic associates and started that practice, which of course is still real big today.
Sure.
And then took off from there, and came in and added Dr. Robert Grossheim, who's also one of our Hall of Fame inductees, and Dr. Robert Stemsrud, who's one of our Hall of Fame inductees. And I've really had a fun time getting to learn more about those 2 gentlemen as well, and all the things that they've done.
Right.
It's incredible.
And that's what a lot of these ceremonies and these Hall of Fame programs are all about, is to remind the community of the contributions that these individuals or families have made that helps get us to where we are today, I would think.
Oh, absolutely.
And as you're talking about a growing community and the need for medical care, that's really important, and it really does kind of pave the way for the success, maybe, or failure of the growth of any community, is the availability of medical care.
Absolutely. And the new and innovative things that these doctors brought to our community. I mean, Dr. Lemer, I know he doesn't really like to brag about himself or anything, but he's done a lot.
Let's do it for him.
Let's brag for him. I absolutely can. So Dr. Lemer and Dr. Romine were some of the first surgeons in New Mexico to practice arthroscopic meniscal surgery. Did I say that correctly?
Okay.
Can you tell us what that is?
That sounds very minute, like little fine work.
Yeah. Obviously, we had a lot of knee injuries, of course, and everybody's heard of a torn meniscus in your knee. But back in 1977, I went to a meeting in East Lansing, Michigan. Lanny Johnson was a professor there, and there were 4 places in the United States that were doing arthroscopic. It really wasn't surgery, but arthroscopic exams.
Okay.
And that replaced something we called arthrograms, where we injected dye into a knee to see what the contour of the meniscus looked like. Well, at this meeting, I came away with a desire to start looking inside the knee through a little scope. It was called a needle scope. And
this is pre-MRI, pre all the scans that we know of today. Right. It was really working with X-rays, and that was about it. Is that what we're talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
And so we started. I came back, and I wanted to buy a needle scope. And at the time, the hospital, the administration said, "Oh, that's just a fad." So if you want a needle scope, you buy it yourself. So anyway, John and I went ahead and bought it. And we started peeking inside the knee through just a little stab hole, and we could see exactly. And then we would go ahead and open the knee and remove the torn cartilage.
It certainly would help you to know what you were looking at or what you're getting into before you open that up, right? Yeah. To do any kind of repair or surgery or whatever.
A very accurate diagnosis. So that was the start of arthroscopic. It kind of went an exam, more or less, or a viewing of the inside the knee joint. You could see whether the person had arthritis or whatever that you couldn't see on an arthrogram. So that was it developed from there. And you know, John and I think it was probably a year or 2 later, we went down to Plano, Texas, and there was a gentleman there that was really advanced in the field already, and we studied under him for about a week. We spent in his lab and in his outpatient unit and watched him do many, many surgeries. And then we came back, and so we got it started from there.
Wow.
So it's developed, and it's now we do shoulders, we do ankles, we do elbows, you know, a lot of different joints that really save big incisions and various things like that.
Sure. And I would imagine a lot of the rehabilitation and the recovery rates, too. If you have a smaller incision and less impact on the joint, it's a lot easier to heal from that.
All of that's done as an outpatient today. Just in and out of the hospital, or in and out of the surgery center or outpatient center.
Right. And it all started from that story, right?
Started
the work that you were doing.
78, yeah.
Amazing. Very exciting. Well, again, it explains why Dr. Lemer's in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Right?
And many other reasons.
That's right. Just one of them, but that's true. My guest this morning from San Juan Regional Medical Center, we are talking about the upcoming induction ceremony for the San Juan Regional Medical Center Hall of Fame happening right here at San Juan College in the Little Theater, coming up on November the 6th. The 6th, thank you, in the evening. And it's a free event.
Free event.
Folks are invited to come.
Everybody's welcome.
And check it out and enjoy. And we've got more inductees to talk about as well this morning. And so we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, more with my guests here in just a moment on KSJE. The time right now is coming up on 8:28. This program on KSJE is supported by Citizens Trust and Investment Corporation, providing a competent, innovative, and caring team of professionals to serve wealth management, trust administration, employee benefit plans, retirement planning, and estate settlement needs. Find out more about Citizens Trust and Investment Corporation at 505-599-8800.